There we go. Gosh, it takes so long to come on, like once I push the start button. I'm not sure why that is. Let me go set up the chat on the desktop so I can make sure we're getting all the messages. Hey, Kathy. I'm all right. How are you, my friend? Just setting up the desktop behind me. I'm going to try to keep these things a little shorter. Then when people are doing the replays or the rewatching, they don't have to watch like a 2-hour video. Hey, Kathy Mallory. We've got Kathy X50 or X50 and Kathy Mallory. 2 Kathys. Welcome to both Kathys. You know, I had somebody write on one of the comments last night, I don't like your new screen. I don't like it. But then someone today was like, oh, wow, that screen, it's so beautiful. So I clicked to see which one it was, and it was this one. So somebody was like, oh, that's so pretty. That's so beautiful. And then somebody else was like, thumbs down. I don't like your screens now. I don't like your background. I can't please everybody. Wow, already 3 thumbs up, and I haven't even said anything yet. It's only 2 minutes into this. It is pretty. It's Tucson, actually. We're going to talk a little bit about Front Porch Guy, but let me just give it a few for people to come in. Then I don't have to repeat myself, and we don't need to make, something that's going to take a few minutes into a 2-hour video. Oh, hi, Deanna. It is Arizona. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Tucson. I love that saguaro cacti. Hey, David. David Wapnitsky. I don't think I've seen you before. Where are you coming in from, David? We're just going to wait to get started here for just a moment. I'll just remind everybody, no politics, no religion, or we'll have to time you out. I'm here for Nancy, yes. Hey, Jamie James. Yeah, 17 people here. Hey, it's April Davis PI, and it is, what day is it? It is April 23rd. I can't see my timer or my date stamp anymore because of the big heavy microphone that I got as a gift. I'm going to have to move that somewhere when I'm not using it. So, April 23rd, 2026. I'm doing well, David. How are you? And I'm a licensed private investigator in the state of California, and I have a YouTube channel, but I have been reporting lately, doing a true crime series on the Nancy Guthrie case. Yeah, missing Nancy Guthrie. Missing for I think it's 82 days now. It's hard to keep track. I put it in the title of the video. And speaking of the videos, if you guys are coming in on the rewatches or the replays, however you want to word that, make sure that you check the comments, because yesterday there was a connection issue with the Wi-Fi, and I didn't realize for the first minute and change that nobody could hear me. And so people were coming in last night going, it's muted, I can't hear you. Read the comments. I always, if there's an error or something I need to, I always play these back afterwards, and then I catch things, and then I'll put a little pinned comment up at the top of the comments. So always check those, just to make sure, so you don't have to waste your time trying to figure out where's the starting point. Most people do check the comments, but it's always a good thing, just in case. Hey, gosh, we haven't even started yet. Kathy Mallory, let's get this rolling. Thank you, my friend. We've been talking lately about Front Porch Guy. And recently, I just read an article online from a retired FBI special agent, and it's called Nancy Guthrie Update, Why No One Has Turned in Porch Guy. Retired FBI agent speculates. There's that word again. Speculates. Speculative. Remember, that's a Nano's favorite word. And it says, today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, is still missing after her February 1st abduction. And a retired FBI agent recently speculated on why no one has turned in Porch Guy as the case nears 12 weeks. Funny, somebody came in yesterday and thought I just made that up, Porch Guy, but no, that's the media is calling that guy Porch Guy, the guy with the ski mask. It says on Thursday, April 23rd, former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendorfer, that's a lot to say, Coffendorfer, took to X to weigh in on the fact that no suspect has been named in the 84-year-old's case. In her lengthy examination, Coffendorfer acknowledged that many people aren't even aware of Nancy's missing case. Now, that's surprising. It's very possible no one that knows him has seen Porch Guy or even knows about this case. She said of the masked individual captured in doorbell camera footage from Nancy's front porch. Yeah, that maybe a lot of people haven't heard about it. I know in Mexico, a lot of people hadn't heard about it because Brian Itten went down there. And they were like, who? What? She continued, the number 2 reason, people know about the case, people know about this photo, people have seen the footage, and guess what? They are fiercely loyal. Yeah, Coffendorfer explored the possibility of a parent recognizing that Porch Guy is their son and wrestling with the idea that if they do come forward, he would be likely subject to the death penalty. It could be a brother, it could be a husband, but she pointed out, but there's no way you're going to say. Now, I think that's much more a possibility than somebody not knowing about this case unless they're just living under a rock. But there are a lot of people that live under rocks that don't know what's going on in the world. A lot of people don't watch the news. I have a friend from Thailand, and she knows everything that's happening in Thailand, but she knows nothing that's happening here. But she lives in the United States, and she's proud to be an American, but she doesn't know anything that's going on in the news. A third reason for no one coming forward about Porch Guy, according to Coffendorfer, could be that they are fiercely afraid of him. I think that too, especially if it's a girlfriend or a wife. You know what he did. You've been tracking this case, but you know what? No way in HELL you're coming forward, because if he gets any inkling that you're acting in any way suspicious, you know you could be next. Hey, Tricia. No problem, David. Hey, Jane Rice. Let's see. Additionally, the retired FBI agent speculated that someone who knows something but isn't coming forward could be distrustful of the government despite a $1.2 million in reward money on the table. Is anybody else having interference? Let me listen on my end. Let me just turn up my desktop volume. Testing. Let me listen on my end. Let me just turn up my desktop volume. No, I'm not hearing it on my end. I'm sorry. I sound like I'm broadcasting from inside a tunnel. Hello? Testing? Testing 1, 2, 3? Hello? Testing? That is weird. Let me switch mics. Okay, how is it now? Can you hear me now? I sound like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? How is it now? Can you hear me now? I sound like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Okay, Tricia says she hears it too. It's clear now. I guess I should put the Wi-Fi mics on the Amazon list. I've already bought so many things to replace so many things. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. So, despite the $1.2 million reward on the table, no, we're not going to have Kitty scream right now. She has been screaming all day. She has food. She's used her litter box. She's been bird watching. I have no clue. Let's see. She also suggested that someone might think they recognize Porch Guy, but simply cannot believe it could actually be them. Another theory suggested that Porch Guy could be dead at the hands of a potential accomplice or someone that hired him. It has to be some simple adjustment for the other mic. There is no way to adjust it. Come here, Kitty. Let me show you, and then if you... I've been a very loud girl today. Hi, everybody. Okay. I love you, but you have to be quiet right now. It still has tunnel effect. Well, this is really screwing up my video because it's showing the receiver is fine. Yeah, I have one is completely off. It's turned off. I wonder if it's a YouTube issue. They're charged. And I have the volume turned down on the computer. And the volume is, just make sure it's all turned down on the iPad. Tricia says, I think Porch Guy was set up to either take the fall or be found unalive from the get-go because this was the only camera not taken out of commission. You know, that's a possibility. Tricia, do your song and dance routine. I got to take somebody to time out. Well, this video is not going so well between the sound and the kitty screaming in my ear. Oh, thank you for modding. She is precious, but she's a handful. She's a girl kitty. I'm used to having boy animals, boy bunnies, and boy cats, and she is a handful being a girl. So basically, she's saying that somebody may not know about the case because they're living under a rock. Or it could be like a parent who does know about the case, but they recognize this person and they're fiercely loyal because possibly it's their son. I've also thought about the third reason, that it could be like a wife or a girlfriend, and they're scared that if they turn them in, that they're going to have harm done to them. Especially how badly the FBI, or I should say Pima County, has handled this case. I mean, what if you did turn them in and they don't arrest him, but he knows that you're the one that dropped the dime. In other words, made the phone call. There's also a possibility that he could be deceased. I hadn't thought of that one, but, you know, we did mention the movie Fargo many times, and the kidnappers take out some of the other kidnappers. Do I think the original motives were financial? It's one of two things, revenge or money. Hi, David. Welcome in. You're from the UK. I remember you from yesterday. Hearts of gold. Welcome back. How are you doing, honey? I sent you something a couple of days ago in the mail. I think it went out, was it Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday. I sent you something in the mail. Yeah, like, is everything going better, Hearts? We were just talking a little bit about Porch Guy. Oh, you're doing well. That's so good. I hope your sister's doing better than she was during the last time we saw you. The whole financial thing, Tricia says, I think the whole financial thing has been a diversion from the start. I originally thought that about the ransom letters, but then I went back to what I originally thought when I first heard about this on Sunday night, February 1st, that, oh my God, somebody went after Savannah Guthrie's mother because of Savannah. And if that's the case, they could have been doing it for the money. But yet at the same time, it doesn't look like a typical kidnapping as far as how the ransoms were sent, and they weren't left at the scene. They weren't sent to the family. They were very public. They didn't have proof of life. They didn't take her medication with them. You know, she's 84 years old. She can barely walk some days. Well, some days she could not walk from the front door to the mailbox. You know, some days she probably had to use a cane or a walker. You know, why take a woman of that age unless it's financially motivated? Someone sees blood, they're going to pay. Yeah, but that does look like drip marks. And I saw a retired FBI agent talking to Brian Enton last night, and he said that it looks like she may have been stooped down, like she bent down because of the way the drop patterns were. Like, you know, something happened at the front door and she didn't want to go. And, you know, maybe she got struck or something in the face, and then she, you know, was on her knees or, but there's not a lot of smears in it. But he also believed that it was only one person, and I don't believe that at all, that this is a single person. I believe that there's more than one involved. Oh, Hart says she may come home tomorrow. That's great news, Hearts. And what did I miss? I hope is the sound better now that I switched the mics? There just seems to be some YouTube issues lately as well. There's been YouTube issues. G Shady Enterprise, hello. Tomato is a biology teacher, or was. From the first, I thought it was a stage. Blood drops. You know, I've also heard the rumor that he hasn't even worked this whole entire school year, the 25-26 year. I cannot confirm that either way. Yes, it sounds good. Jamie James, if she was taken for money, he would have taken her medication and clothes and whatnot to keep her safe. Yeah, apparently she didn't even have any shoes. Hart says the sound is fine. Yeah, we were having some issues at the beginning, Hart. Or Hearts. Tricia, for whatever reason, even though you have everything turned down, you sound very loud. There's no volume on these. Well, usually it's the opposite. It's like, oh, we can't hear you. Let me look at my desktop. You know, YouTube is having an issue because the desktop, it keeps freezing. And my internet is fine. Let me go set up the chat on the desktop. Yeah, it's not showing it live. It's showing like a repeat. That's weird. Let me try it again. Now I'm getting a commercial on my own video because I'm doing it from the desktop. Well, I'm actually recording it from the cell phone, but I have it on the background on the desktop. Wow, what commercials am I getting? Cheapo Air. Book your flight now. I don't think I would book a flight on an airline that's called Cheapo Air. That's actually kind of silly. Those dang ads. Just whisper. Loud and proud. That's strange because, let me look. Yeah, there's no volume on these mics. There's no way to turn it up or turn it down. Yeah, you must be watching on a phone, Kathy Mowry. Yeah, so I know, I have that video where I did a short the other day where I show an arm, and then we talked about that a little bit last night on last night's live. Not a lot of people came in, but a lot of people are watching it on the playback, and they're like, hey, there's no sound, it's muted. And that was my fault because for some reason the mic turned itself off, but or I just didn't have it set right. It's probably my problem. The listener needs to turn their volume down, sure. And I'm not even using, because I'm not recording this from the computer because YouTube wants vertical lives. So this really expensive gadget here, which does have a volume and a gain button, I can only use this if it's hooked up to my desktop or presumably a laptop as well. It's USB. So, I can't hook that up to a phone and, use $100 plus microphone on a vertical live from a phone. You have your volume on too. You are on your desktop. My security for my internet has them locked out. Oh, okay. Next stop is muted. So, okay, I've read the different reasons why. That either someone's living under a rock and doesn't know about the case, like most of the people in Mexico and Sonora. Number 2, loyalty from like a parent. Number 3, fear from somebody that knows him. Number 4, that one of the other kidnappers or abductors, because I'm still not convinced that this was an actual legit kidnapping for money, that somebody took out one of the other parties involved. Of course, my possibility is that front porch guy left town very quickly and is in another country. But still, someone in Tucson would know him. Yeah. So this is a retired FBI agent, and she's pretty sharp. This Jennifer Coffendorfer, and she doesn't even know. Hey, V-Miss. I think so, Jamie. I have a suspicion. I've called it into the FBI twice. I live in Fort Knox. They want to come get me, come get me. I'm ready. I don't sleep well at night. I'll definitely hear somebody at the front door. It'll trigger something and I'll know you're coming. Deanna, this is bar none the most bizarre case I have ever heard of. I agree. And that sheriff did some really bizarre things that a professional would not have done. Exactly. I just really feel for the family. Yes. Kathy says, I turned mine down by 50%. It could be a YouTube issue. They have had a lot of issues since I've become monetized. Never had these issues, before I was on the time clock. Trisha, exactly, Deanna, and I thought the Ramsey case was hinky. Well, the problem with the Ramsey case is that people in the Boulder Police Department just didn't know what they were doing. But you know who really thought that they were innocent was the district attorney. He was just under a lot of pressure to try to throw the Ramseys under the bus. And then the specialist, years later that they hired, the Lou Schmitz guy, who's now deceased, he was hired by the DA's office to throw the Ramseys under the bus. And within about the first 20 seconds, he went, oh, wow, these people didn't do it. And I always felt they didn't do it. And then I read a copy of the autopsy report because that's how I always start a death investigation in my career as a detective. I always read the coroner's report first, the autopsy and the investigation report that goes with it, which is public knowledge. And I was like, oh my God, I was right from day one. These people didn't do it. And there were reasons that I thought that. And there's not only no evidence against them, but there's a tremendous amount of physical evidence, including DNA, that points away from them. But we're not talking about John Bonet today. But yeah, it is hinky. And remember that press conference, where it was a dog and pony show, and they were basically saying, we know who you are, but what they were really saying is, we have no idea, please help us. Somebody come forward. Yes, the 911 call is also public record. You mean for Ramsey or for this case. I don't know about this case. I haven't heard in the Nancy Guthrie case, I have not heard any 911 calls. And maybe they're holding it for some reason. Maybe they have it sealed for some reason. But usually 911 calls are public record because I've had to get copies of them before. And no robbery because nothing was taken except Nancy. Exactly. Do you think he panicked during the break-in and took her anyways? No, absolutely not, because you don't stake out a house that long for a robbery. Jamie James says, it was an inside job, I'm convinced. It's very possible. If she weren't the mother of a famous person, I would say there's a 90% chance or higher that it was an inside job. But I have to add what I call the Savannah factor into this. We can't forget that her daughter is Savannah Guthrie. Well, you're welcome, Jamie. I want to keep this case relevant. Kathy says, I think Hinky and Wonky are the same. Wonky's just kind of weird where Hinky's a little sus. Like, oh, the subject, I'm following him and I think he's Hinky. He's on to us. And trust me, that happens. There's a very fine balance when you surveil someone from playing it in the background, and you might have a good chance of losing them, but it's early in the case and you haven't gathered enough intel yet, so you don't want to burn it the first week or so. But then there's times where you got to hit it hard, and you've already got so much evidence and so much video and so much to prosecute this person that you do play it a little harder, and sometimes they will catch on, but by then you've already got so much, they're already toast. I was thinking about that Kathy Mallory late last night until I finally just went to sleep. I'm still exhausted from my dental work. And I was thinking about that most of the night. And then I was thinking about that again today because we talked about that a little bit yesterday on yesterday's live, that Savannah and her family, especially her children, could be in danger. And I think that has a lot to do with why she's not making public appearances regarding this case. She's going to her job at the Today Show, but they're not talking about this on the Today Show. And there's a reason. Remember, this is not about a ratings boost. This is about finding Nancy Guthrie, finding who did this, and knowing that nobody has been arrested yet. There's been people detained in this, but nobody's been arrested. And whoever's involved, they're still out there. It's still up for debate, Hearts. He wants to let this whole area calm down a bit, but it's hard to calm down when you have 6 injections. I'm a redhead, so it takes a lot of extra anesthesia to numb me. I did not, Kathy. Have I ever heard the Wonky Donkey song? No. But yeah, this case is hinky. The Miss says, yeah, that's scary. I'm not sure what it's about at this point. Exactly. Revenge or money? And if it was money, was it intended kidnapping because she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie and we can get some easy money on this? Or was it about money because it's somebody very close who might have a lot to gain if she weren't around anymore? But if that was the case, they've dug themselves into a very deep hole because depending on the law in Arizona, it can take years to get somebody declared legally dead. And it would also be a big factor as to how her finances were set up, her banking, her house, her deed, her trust. Because remember, we have no death certificate at this point, not even a preliminary open-ended death certificate. We have no proof of death. Money or payback? Exactly. Remember, Savannah has been heavily involved in the investigation of alleged victims of the Epstein files. That's why it's very hard for me to believe that she's married to a man who is allegedly a Clinton cleaner. A lot of people are saying that's true. He does have a very close association with the Clintons. And the Clintons are named apparently, like 3,000 times or something in the Epstein files. But yet Savannah, she's meeting with all these women that are alleged victims. She's doing a deep dive on this. And remember, it had just been announced before this case happened that they were getting ready to release the list. And then there's been all these distractions. Oh, thank you, Peyton, but we're not here to talk religion or politics tonight. Jamie James, I have to go, guys. I'll have more time when we are on the road next weekend. Take care and see you soon. Good luck with the move, Jamie. I mean, that's hard for me to believe. And I know that Michael Feldman is her second husband, and I believe he is the actual father of her two children, not the first husband. But that's, with her political beliefs, if he's really a Clinton cleaner, that's a little disturbing to me. I have to, and now there's rumors that the marriage was on the rocks before this has even happened, this disappearance of her mother, and I don't know if any of that's true or that's just false rumors. Like, how many false rumors have there been? Remember the rumor that Kayla Day was Nancy Guthrie's grandniece and that she's Savannah's cousin once removed. That's not true at all. The night that Luke Daly got picked up in the Culver's parking lot with his new Range Rover that he bought on February the 2nd, allegedly from Zaydon Hamad El Jaghub, a.k.a. Zach. We don't know if that's true. But remember, someone was also in a white van down at Culver's who flipped out and, took himself out that night. That didn't happen. There was no white van. There was no one arriving. As far as I know, when Luke was pulled over, he was alone. Now, does he know Zach Jaghub? Yes. If you do a TikTok dive, people think that Zach and Luke are the same people. It's two different people. Two unrelated people who may or may not know each other. If you were to believe last week's rumors, the police have a suspect in custody from the Rio Rico area, or they're about to make an arrest. None of that is true. I'm missing a comment here. Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry. Yes, I've heard the same about Savannah and husband. And if that's true, that he really is who people say he is, then Savannah, maybe you'd be better off without him. But, that could all be rumor. I've never met the man. I've never met Savannah. I think Savannah is probably a very nice person. I don't know anything about her husband other than what I'm hearing. I didn't even know who she was married to until this case came up. Kathy Mowry, I think Savannah knows more than anyone, and she has been stifled. Yes. Oh, there's reasons for it. Tricia, I will say that when my husband and I were talking about it, he said he would be glued to my side. I would not be going through it alone. Tricia, and where has her husband been? Him and the kids were in Florida while she was in Arizona. Yes, and then he went back to New York. I thought when he dropped the kids off in Florida that he came back to Arizona, but apparently he did not. Now, I know somebody has to take care of the kids, and you don't want the kids, exposed to all of this. So maybe he was taking one for the team and he was taking care of the kids. Hey, Sue Brook. Nice to see you. These could all be rumors, just like Kayla being related to Nancy, which is apparently not true. And somebody took themselves out in the parking lot of Culver's the night that Luke Daly was detained. Not true. That they got somebody in a white van. There were two people in a white van. It was Luke and Zach. And, Zach or Luke, unalived themselves and was sprawled out on the sidewalk, deceased. That's not true. We don't even know if Luke and Zach know each other, but we do know that the car that had paper plates had a license plate rim that said MG Motors, which Zach used to be affiliated with, from an accounting aspect. But supposedly that car was bought off of Craigslist, and it may have been a personal vehicle owned by Zach, who may have sold the car and split town. Or maybe he didn't. But somebody apparently got the VIN number off the car because there was paper plates. Someone got the VIN number and said it was registered to Zach Jaghoop. But I don't know if any of that is true. And for this suspect that was detained or arrested in the Rio Rico area on Friday night, the sheriff himself has now made a press conference and said, that's not true at all. There's so much misinformation. That's why I cannot be sure that the information about Tommaso not working the 25-26 school year is true. I'm not sure the rumors about Savannah and her husband are true, although the body language to me does seem like there's some distance there. But the body language of Tommaso and Annie immediately to me said they're hiding something, they're being deceptive. But it doesn't mean that they're suspects in the case. Kathy says, I saw something that her daughter denounced yesterday. What was it? Tricia said, yes, he sent the kids to his parents' home. That's what I thought. And they must live in Florida. I'm sure they get plenty of screen time. Tricia, I am not even convinced Nanny went to Annie's Saturday night. I think she went missing on Saturday evening, and that's why Nanos got the days mixed. Half of that is true. She did go to Annie's, and that's because they have a video from the Uber driver, who apparently was not a male. The Uber driver is now being reported as a female, and they actually have interviewed her, and they have the dash cam video and the cabin video. And so she was definitely dropped off at Annie and Tommaso's on Saturday night. Now, why did Nanos keep having the date mixed up as to when the police department was called? I don't know, because it's not like he just had the date wrong and he kept saying the 31st instead of the 1st. He kept saying Saturday the 31st. Like, this hadn't even happened yet. We know that she was last seen Saturday the 31st by the Uber driver, who did drop her off at Annie and Tommaso's about 10 minutes away. Okay, I'm confused. Kathy says, why is Savannah's daughter talking bull hockey on Savannah? Huh? Savannah's daughter's just a little girl. She has 2 minor children. The daughter's name is Vale, and I can't recall the son's name right now, but they're little. Why is Savannah's daughter talking bull hockey on Savannah? I am totally confused by that. Oh, hey, Jay. Didn't see you come in. But we don't know anything about the Uber driver. He hasn't said anything publicly, and Nanos won't release the tape from the ride. Well, yeah, it's a piece of evidence in an active investigation. But they did confirm that she did take that ride. They know that she did get to the daughter's house that night. Oh, she was interviewed on YouTube from another creator. Yeah, I know it recently became known that it was a woman rather than a man, but I don't know how that information got released. He also cleared the family. Well, that's what he says. The FBI hasn't said that. And if it really isn't the family and it isn't somebody else that's close to her, then we have to go back to this whole crazy kidnapping scheme and that somebody is out there. That's why the police have recently beefed up security in the neighborhood and now have implied that the neighborhood or the neighbors in the neighborhood could be in danger because there really might be a kidnapper out there. Which daughter, Kathy? Do you mean Savannah's sister, Annie? Tricia says, again, I think she was whisked out Saturday and all of the rest is diversions and distractions. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. You mentioned that. Tricia says, remember when a hiker finds her next year? I said it first. I would love for you to be right about that, and she's completely safe somewhere. I just don't believe that. Anything is possible in this crazy case because there's nothing about this case as normal. But I don't think Savannah would be completely destroyed. I don't, she's a broadcaster, but she's not a professional actor. So, I mean, she's destroyed over this. Anything to get at Savannah? Savannah's daughter is a tween. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Kathy. Are you talking about Savannah's sister, Annie, who is married to Tommaso? Or are you really talking about Savannah's tween daughter? Tricia, Nanas will be out of a job. Yes, probably. E-files will be forgotten and Nancy will be found alive and well on a bench. I hope so. Why did it say start? Okay, hold on. I keep getting this thing flashing at me. I reset this up and now it's flashing at me. Did I type in the wrong time? YouTube is weird today. This video for you guys just coming in who want to see it on the replay, it didn't start well for some reason. There we go. Don't forget I know things. You know a lot, Tricia. Wow, Kathy, that's just wrong on so many levels. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Savannah's daughter. Nobody even knows where these kids go to school or if they're going to school right now. They're very well protected, and they're definitely not out there on social media. They're super protected right now. She was screaming at her mom. Where did you see that? Like, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I haven't heard anything like that. I mean, nobody even knows where she lives. Well, if it was from another creator and I didn't see it and I can't confirm it, I can't say that it happened. Were they seen in public somewhere, possibly? Because I haven't seen the kids at all since this whole thing happened, except they were seen in the airport with Michael. Yeah, that's a good question, V-Miss. Exactly, Deanna. See, that's what's so sad about AI. Remember, we have AI now, and they can make fake videos. Yeah, and AI can also make fake pictures of sleeve tattoos on suspects that may not even exist. It was in my recommended video. Yeah, I haven't seen or heard anything about that, Kathy. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Remember, not everything on the internet is accurate. Tricia says, Kathy, go ahead and put the channel name in and then remove it. Yeah, there's AI everywhere. And you know what? If somebody is using AI, I don't think YouTube should pay AI creators. I know somebody whose mother-in-law, and she's a woman from another country who barely speaks a word of English, and she's making AI videos about like kittens and little animals, but it's all AI, and she's making a mint. And it's like, but she didn't create any of that. You know, she just feeds a story into like Chat GPT or, you know, some probably a more expensive, you know, app where she pays a monthly fee, and she just speaks into the phone and says, okay, this is what I want you to create. And she puts it on YouTube, and she's got like, you know, 40 or 50,000 subs, and she's making big checks every month into the thousands, but it's all AI BS. That should just be. Yes, Jay, I don't trust most internet. Either do I. Yeah, feel free to send me an email. Hey, Rita Close, how are you? Yeah, we were just discussing Front Porch Guy earlier. You can always watch on the replay, but basically this Jennifer Coffendorfer, who is a retired special agent with the FBI, said, well, there's like 4 reasons that nobody's been able to identify him yet, and one is that somebody who knows him hasn't heard about the case, which is hard to believe unless it's somebody living under a rock or in another country. Number 2, it could be a parent who's protecting them because of loyalty. Number 3, it could be somebody who's fearful of them, which I think like a wife or a girlfriend, a significant other. Also that this person could be scared of the government. And then I think, is it 4 reasons or 5 reasons? I've lost track because this is when we had all of our sound issues. So I kept, you know, getting interrupted to fix the sound. But thank you for letting me know. But number 5, that possibly Front Porch Guy is currently not with us anymore. Like maybe one of the other kidnappers or abductors unalived him. But then last night I watched a Brian Enton video with another retired FBI agent who thinks this is a single person that did all of this. And I don't believe that at all. Jay says, I watch entertainment stories in April. Well, thank you, Jay. And once again, I'll ask you guys, are you watching my long-form content? I have a lot of videos under my video tab, and I have a lot of playlists on a lot of different subjects. And I have more cases than just Nancy Guthrie. I mean, this is obviously the big one now that everybody's interested in, but there's a lot of things to talk about. I really wanted to make a playlist that was dedicated to a young woman named Melissa Martinez, who sadly is no longer with us, but it's basically in LA, it's known as the girl in the sewer case. And like, I don't want to have a playlist that's like the girl in the sewer or body in the sewer. Like, I just don't think that's proper. But it is in like the rest in peace section, or no, it wasn't in the rest in peace section either. I should put it in there. It's in the true crime section. Yeah, it's a big story here in LA for the last several years, like the last 4 years, but it's not necessarily a big story in other cities. But it's a fascinating story, as sad as it is. YouTubers who still go out to Nancy's are having the cameras talking to them. Yeah, apparently Annie and Tommaso have put up all types of no trespassing signs because they're mad now. They're like, get out of my house. And nobody's been on their property. And that's why they're like, oh, the police have spent so much time bumping up patrols around Nancy's and Tommaso's, But they don't even have time to investigate the Nancy Guthrie missing person case anymore because they're too busy, rounding up the YouTubers and the boots on the ground. I'm sure it's family or someone watching the house, but it's creepy. Jane Rice says, night all. Good night, Jane. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we just, I want to keep this relevant, as I'm sure the boots on the ground want to keep it relevant. Oh, Hearts. Thanks for coming in. She says, I got to get going. Much love, everyone. I will finish watching later. Thank you so much. And I'm still praying for your sister and your little doggy. Now, I'm not doing this for the money. Remember, when I started all this, I wasn't even remonetized yet. Never thought I would be. And then I had all these thousands of views from these videos. And then I was like, oh, wow, I can reapply. Why not? It would be great to be able to pay myself back for, all the expenses on the channel. But yeah, I'm just here to keep this relevant. And a lot of people have come to my channel and commented on my videos, or they've commented in this chat saying that I'm one of the top 2 on YouTube. Like, I don't think that at all. And somebody else is like, oh, you're number 1 and you're all I'm watching now. And, that's fantastic. But I still need to figure out how to get my audience to watch my long form content videos, because that's what I really enjoy making. When I was at PI, I made a living from going out in the field and making videos, but my videos were like suspects, bad guys, criminals. As a PI, I wasn't out there making videos for, YouTube. YouTube didn't even exist yet. Heck, when I started, we didn't even have internet yet. That's how old I am. We didn't have pagers, fax machines, internet, email, digital cameras. We didn't even have video cameras when I started. It was all old Super 8 film. And had to go down to the louder every night, and then someone needed to go pick up, basically like people picking up the dailies in Hollywood. Go pick up the film the next morning, pick up the dailies, and then edit it all together. Oh, Kathy says she can't find it. I looked through my history and it's not there. I wondered if it got deleted. Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that. I mean, I believe you that you heard something like that, Kathy. We're definitely not calling you a liar, but I haven't heard anything like that. And, Savannah, I don't think would be that stupid to expose her children right now. They're very well hidden. But people did see, Michael Feldman, her husband, in the airport in Florida while she was still in Arizona. And then it was just her and Annie and Tommaso, and apparently they were staying together and they were on the move. I mean, it seemed like they felt like they were in imminent danger. That's why Savannah will have her soul crushed if it turns out that someone in the family is actually involved in this. It'll be soul crushing, and she'll never get over it. She may never get over it now, not having her mother back. Trisha says it could have been removed by the creator or YouTube. Absolutely. Got to be really careful what you put out on YouTube. Really careful. Certain words, certain phrases, certain subjects we just can't talk about. "28 people here. I got 14 thumbs up. Thank you to those 14, but can you guys smash that like button? I feel like that's what it's leaning toward, a family member. Well, that was the number 1 suspect at the beginning, according to Ashley Banfield's private law enforcement source, which I think was someone on the federal level. And I don't think she was saying that for clicks. I don't think she would compromise her reputation and just make something like that up. I mean, she's not JLR Investigates, you know. She's a mainstream media news person, and she's got to be super careful about throwing out accusations like that. Hey, Chastity from Japan, welcome back. I forgot that you were from Japan just because you don't have a Japanese name. Got to be very, very careful. Remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Oh, you changed it. Oh, okay. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. You know, and if some of these suspects, including family, are innocent, then I kind of feel bad for them. But, you know, that's why the Ramseys for umpteen years were prime suspects. Because not only was their daughter unalive, but they found the body inside the house in the basement. But that's a very, very complex case. And it could have been solved in a week had they had the right people on it. And the mistakes made in this case from the very beginning, going to bite them in the behind. Trisha, Kathy, I searched YouTube to find a video of Savannah and her daughter. I did find one from a year ago where her daughter interviewed her mother on her book, What God Mostly Does, so anyone could have. Venus, yeah, I felt bad for them too. Here lately, there have been a lot of things come to light. Trisha made an AI out of that. Oh, sure, AI is everywhere. You know, like I said, Patsy Ramsey could return from the grave, walk through my front door right now and say she did it. I wouldn't believe it. Liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Remember that one from when you were a kid? But I am not AI. What you see is what you get. And I always try to report everything accurately. And if there's an issue with the video, even on this video, I'll pin a comment to say, hey, there were some sound issues at the beginning, according to my viewers. There's things that have come out that we've had to come back later and correct and say, oh, we found out that wasn't true. No, they did not. David asked, did they ever solve the Ramsey murder? No, it is an open homicide investigation. Yeah, that's a green screen, Chastity. That's the desert of Tucson, Arizona, where Miss Nancy has lived since 1975. Kathy says, I do believe that it was to shake them up. This wasn't with Savannah. It was out with someone else. Yeah, I didn't see it. But yeah, her children are extraordinarily well guarded right now. And we don't know if the rumors about Savannah and Michael Feldman are even true. But if they are true, then wow, does she have a lot on her plate right now. Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about when you mentioned this earlier, Kathy. I didn't see it. No problem. Okay, 34 people now watching and 16 thumbs up. If you guys want to review the beginning, we talk about the most recent report from retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer. I think she also has a YouTube channel. But this is all just her opinion as to why nobody has identified Front Porch Guy. Oh, thank you, Chastity, for the sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, you know, today, let me look. I actually hit 2,600. Now I'm at 2,603. I never thought I'd hit 1,000. Never, ever thought 2,000. And that came like years after I hit 1,000. But once I hit 2,000 and I started, you know, I continued to do the Nancy Guthrie crime series here, the true crime videos, the lives, it's steadily rising. I mean, not like I'm a big YouTuber, because I'm not. I'm like this big, or this small. But if we're at 2603 and it's happened this quickly since 2000, I am actually very confident that I could see 3,000 soon. So everybody, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't shared my channel, please feel free to share it on all social media. Arizona Desert Walker, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, see you, Chastity. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, thanks everybody who smashed that like button. And those people that are sending the red hearts and the smiley faces, I appreciate you so much. It helps bring people in. And I don't even know, how many videos do I have on this? It's over 60. Heck, when I did the additional playlist, the Nancy Guthrie playlist, I think there was 63. And I did that several days ago. So we might be close to 70 videos on this now. Whenever I hit the like button, my days get better. Thank you for hitting it. People who are grieving deeply are hard to love. Yeah, I just would love to give Savannah a big hug. But I know that wouldn't be appropriate because I don't know her. But if she wants to call me right now or come here to Los Angeles and consult with me on this, I would love to talk to her and just throw in my 2 cents on this. And I would have a whole list of everything that, has this been done, has this been done, has this been done. And we don't know how much the FBI and Pima County Sheriff is telling her about everything. Like, she's got to wait like all the rest of us on the DNA. But, you know, sometimes it takes a fresh set of eyes just to go over everything and go, okay, have you done this? Have you done this? You know, let's cross the T's and dot the I's here. Have you considered doing this? Have you looked at this? And then you start seeing a pattern. You know, I would love to see the forensic accounting on this. What if she knows it could be her sister and brother-in-law? How hard is that? I've thought of that too, but apparently I've heard several mainstream news reporters say that anytime that is suggested to her, that she becomes livid. But there's also denial. But I've thought that too, like, maybe she's just playing along, but others are like, no, she's absolutely livid. And then, you know, Megyn Kelly, who I don't watch all the time because I don't align with her politically speaking, but she has said from the very beginning that this was never a kidnapping, that none of this makes sense. Like I've said, the kidnapping aspect makes no sense. I mean, it could be, but it's the weirdest kidnapping in the history of crime. That she thinks that this was an unaliving from the beginning, and all this whole kidnapping story is just a big red herring. Could very well could be denial, V-Miss. Oh, wow. Tricia says, my mother unalived herself when I was 17. I had been married 3 days. My high school graduation hadn't even happened yet when we were doing her funeral. My uncle said either I or my father, and I had done it, so I had to go take a poly test in the middle of my mom's viewing. Oh, wow, that's horrible, Tricia. I'm so sorry. Well, shame on your uncle. Deanna, her brother has convinced her that somehow, someway, Savannah is at fault. That is because of Savannah and her celebrity. That has to be horribly hard to have that on your shoulders. Well, that was my first thought when I heard about this. Like, oh my God, I didn't even know who Nancy Guthrie was. And she's the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie, and she has disappeared. And they don't think it's a missing senior type of alert. And I was like, oh no. And that's because of my career as a PI and working as a Hollywood PI and seeing things like this actually happen. or the threat of things, of this type of thing happening. Remember, celebrities have a giant target bullseye on their backs. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Tricia. You know, you have to look at it that way. We've all got something. I've got a lot of somethings in my life, and it's like, well, you know, if things hadn't worked out the way they did, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today about these things. I mean, I believe everything happens for a reason, but there's some things that are just too hard to take. I mean, I was going through this box today on my desk. This is my Christmas card box and my thank you note box. And it's got my pins, and it's got this little boogie board, which I use every day. I don't know if you can see it with the green screen. But while I was going through this box, and I almost was into tears, I found some old photos of my friend that died. Yeah, this is her from the Weather Channel days. And, you know, it's just like, this happened in 2022, and I was going through all these pictures, and there's a good picture of her, and I was just like, oh, geez, you know. She was such a good friend, and she really helped me when I started my radiation and during the pandemic, and I lost all my support. And then this new friend came in, and she just kind of, you know, took over and lifted me up. And, you know, I've never gotten over it, but I keep having to convince myself that, you know, people come into your life for a reason and they leave for a reason, and there's a reason for everything, but it doesn't make it any easier. So I understand, Tricia, what you're going through. And hers was just an accidental death. It was not an unaliving. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Miss. She goes, I know what you mean. I was badly abused by my ex-husband. Oh, awful, Miss. Jay says, I don't have a toxic family, but very dramatic family. My family, most of my family is deceased. There are good people left. Absolutely. A lot of you guys are in here right now. 22 thumbs up. 32 people watching. Yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen the beginning of this, go see the beginning. I always listen to the replays after the video while I'm like cooking dinner or whatever I'm doing at the time. And if there's like a sound error, or like at the beginning of this video, people said I sounded like I was in a tunnel, and I swapped the mics and it still didn't go away right away. Lori Smith, welcome in. Heard she had 6 private investigators on this. Who, Savannah? I hope so. I know, Tricia, it just sucks every day. And March and April, her birthday month and my birthday month that we celebrated together, it's so hard every year. But now that I got monetized on YouTube, which I never thought would happen, and all you guys came in for my party, and, you know, I got, like, let me reach down and grab it. Like, this is all the stuff that showed up at my business box, and it's hard to see it on the green screen, but yeah, all this stuff came, you know, like, oh my gosh. And then people were buying gifts on the Amazon wish list. Like, it sure made it a lot easier, but my broken heart is still there. And I know she's up on the other side, and she's like, you know, friend, you got to get over this. I'll see you on the other side. And with my health, it could be sooner than later. But I don't want to think about that. I just, you know, she'd want me to keep living, and she'd always say, whatever makes you happy. And my mom used to always say that. She just wanted people to be happy. Jay says, most of my blood family is deceased, except for some cousins I haven't seen over a dozen years. Yeah, I have my cousin in South Carolina and my other cousin Randy in Tulsa, and I haven't seen Randy in like probably 50 years. And I haven't seen my cousin Brenda since like my early 20s. But they're very supportive. Trisha, oh my God, April, that was the end of the story. You should hear the whole story. You can't make this stuff up. The end of what story? V Mrs., I hope that Savannah does have that many. I hope so too. Because I have come into cases many, many times in my career, not only through my own company, but through other companies that I worked for while I was a PI in training. And then I only worked for 3 over my career. I haven't been an employee since my 20s because I've already had my company in my late 20s. But the 3rd company I worked for, I actually got my license during the time I worked there, but I continued to work there because I had just so much on my plate, so many cases, and I was working all these TV gigs and movie gigs, and there was just so much on my plate. It took a while for me to okay, I got to go out on my own, and I got to take a step back and, start over again and, build my own business. But we dealt with this stuff all the time that, celebrities would come to us and they had already dealt with the police and they'd already dealt with the FBI and nobody could help them. So I really, really hope that Savannah has the investigators, the PIs on this. I haven't been to the box, Trisha, since I picked up this. And there were a couple more in there at that time. It's somewhere between 30 and 40, I think, because one envelope, which came locally from Palos Verdes Estates, had 10 or 15 cards in it that were handmade. Sue Brock says, I have one aunt and first cousin left with them, and it's very toxic. I have one sibling left, but she went off the rails, and the blood family has nothing to do with her anymore, sadly. It's really sad. Trisha, Kathy, I actually wrote a book about my life. My father is still living, and he went to court to have it stopped from being published. He asked that until him, his wife, and her kids are deceased. That kind of sounds like, and let me tell you, I never met him, but I knew his whole family. Producer, director Steven Spielberg, who is a billionaire, by the way. I did a lot of work for them in years past. For another company. And I can't go into any of the details, but I knew his mom pretty well. And she was one of the funniest characters that I have ever met in my life, and I adored her. And I knew his stepfather too, Bernie. And I met a couple of his sisters, and I spent a whole afternoon once with his sister Sue and her husband Jerry. And I used to work things over at the house or at Amelia Entertainment, but sometimes I would do shifts over at the mother's business. And she was one of the nicest people I ever met in my life. But he made a movie. Was it The Fabelmans? Something like that. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it so bad because it's about his real life family. And he wrote that movie years ago, but he wouldn't release it until his parents were gone. And he wouldn't even make it until his parents were gone. And his mother lived to be 98, and his dad, I think he was at least 102 or 3. They lived forever. He was in his 70s by the time he was able to make that movie, because it mentions some problems in his parents' marriage and his mother's affair. And so he didn't release it. But I've met her. I've worked with her. She's had her chefs cook my lunch before and sat down and watched me eat it. What a wonderful person. But when you just said that you can't release that until everybody is gone, that's what Steven Spielberg actually did. And I think the movie just did all right. And a lot of people were shocked. I can't wait to see it. Freedom of speech, yes. Kathy, the court granted his request. Wow. That's shocking. I believe you, but that's shocking. But he kind of waited out of respect for his mother. Jay said, my dad's family is very toxic. Haven't seen or heard from them since 1985. Probably just 2 cousins and some other cousins, second and third cousins I never met. Yeah, I don't know much of my family because both of my parents were born and raised in Illinois, and their parents and their parents and the great-grandparents, but I never lived in Illinois, and I was never raised there. So I didn't grow up with the distant cousins or the distant aunts and uncles. My mom had no siblings whatsoever, and my dad only had one who was 14 years older. That's how I have my cousins that come in here occasionally in the chat, Randy and Brenda. Just because I had one uncle who's no longer with us. I had no bio aunts. I had an aunt by marriage, and no aunts and uncles or cousins on my mom's side. And so, like all her cousins and their distant cousins that she grew up with, I don't know most of them. And my family, it was just the 3 of us for many years, my mom and dad and me. So my family has always been my friends, and now I have my YouTube family. And that's why for me, if I lose a friend to death, like, this one here whose pictures I just found buried in my desk today, it's very, very hard because my friends are my family. My friends are my inner circle of people. Jay says my husband's family is my family. Yes. Trisha, the publisher told me to change the names of the people and places and to make it fiction instead of nonfiction. I refused because then it would be all a lie. That's what people tell me. They're like, you should write a book. And I'm like, yeah, but I have all these NDAs out there, non-disclosure agreements, and I can't write about my PI life. And people are like, well, just change the names. But then nobody would read it because everybody would be like, well, who is it? Let's see. This goal thing, I'm just going to ignore that. I'm so tired of that thing popping up at me like, your goal, your goal. I don't know. Trisha, you're the expert here at YouTube. Do you think having this goal helps at all, or should I just ignore it in the future? Yes, I'm totally transparent here. I have never been married. I had a very long-term boyfriend for many, many years. And then we weren't together anymore, but we were still best of friends, and then he passed away. Cancer. Thus, he wasn't able to help me with my cancer because he was already gone. And I have 2 sponsored children that are grown kids now, a daughter and a son from Thailand, a family that I sponsor. But I have no bio kids, sadly. So I have my fur babies. But no marriages and no bio kids. Yeah, that family, actually, the 10 years has already gone by, and once the 10 years is done, then you're technically not their sponsor anymore. So that's come and gone because I've known the family for almost 21 years now. And the eldest, she's just had 2 little baby boys, so I'm an auntie now. In fact, I got to meet the new baby on my birthday, which is so crazy. They didn't remember, and I'm like, do you realize when I met your eldest, it was also on my birthday? And they didn't remember because the mom had already gone back to work, but this year my birthday was on a Sunday. So we all got to, except for my sponsor son Max, who had to work that day, we all got to be together. Venus, you have 5 children and 11 grandchildren. In hindsight, if I'd had kids and grandkids, it would be great now because I would have someone to help take care of me, as I'm not getting any younger and I have all these medical situations. But if I had gone that path, then there's no way I could have accomplished what I accomplished in my PI career. And at least I have enough in disability that it covers my monthly rent. It doesn't cover hardly anything else, which is that's a problem. But I would have never been the person that I am today had I not had, a 35-year plus full-time PI career, and then just the last 7 years, it's just been like, like 1% of the work. I would not be who I am today. That would be a personal choice, April. It helps encourage donations, but if everyone broke, they broke. Yep. Now I can do occasionally. I can do like a small PI case, but I can't work the field anymore. And there's an income limit with disability, and I really am disabled, so I can't go out and sit on surveillance, and like even sitting here now at my desk, it's killing my back. Like my back is so bad right now. Yep. Tricia says 2 kids, 2 grandkids, 2 great grands. We do everything in 2s around here. Wow, that's awesome, Trish. Where you been, Panda? Oh, wow. That's interesting. Marriage number 5. Well, you should write a book. You got carried away with the husbands. Good for you. V-Miss says, I feel your pain. I have a horrible back too. Yeah, 35 years of surveillance pretty much made my back toast. In fact, when I was disabled from the cancer, and that was before my major heart problem, which has almost killed me multiple times as a result of my cancer treatment, the analyst at Social Security was like, I'm looking at your records right now, and she says, you have a terrible back. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And she's like, you haven't claimed disability for your back? And I'm like, no. I just, bust my hump all the time. It wasn't until cancer completely knocked me on my butt that, I had to file. And even then I didn't, it took like a couple years to even get it. Kathy Mallory, I had 2 Yorkies that were my fur babies. They absolutely in love with yogurts. They knew when we got out of the fridge that we'd each get a teaspoon. Oh, how sweet. Yours is for other reasons. I've also been rear-ended several times in LA, badly. Yeah, some a-hole from the Howard Stern show, and not my friend, this friend who's been on the Howard Stern show in Canada. She was the Toronto correspondent for that show, including the television version. Some guy, I won't even name him, but some a-hole hit me in Toluca Lake, California, and just really set me back for the rest of my life. He was on a phone, and the next person that rear-ended me on the freeway was also reaching for a cell phone. They both should have had their driver's licenses revoked. Tricia, Jay, you married him for all the right reasons. I used marriage to escape. Yeah, I just have not been married my whole life. I haven't been single my whole life, but I've just never been married. I've been a career person. Yeah, I can't stand the driving and being on the phone. It's a crime here in California, but people do it all the time, and it causes accidents all the time. And I've also been rear-ended at other times, but it's just been minor. Seems like every time I get a new car, or I've had 3 Mustangs in my life, and my second one and my third one were near totaled within 6 months of me buying them because of very bad rear-end accidents that were not my fault. Jace is married 1 week after high school graduation. Wow. Well, I'm glad you found your Prince Charming, Kathy. I mean, I don't expect to at this age with my health because, there's not a whole lot I can do being disabled. But, luckily I did have all those years that I just worked and worked and worked. Somebody came in here the other day and asked, when was the last time I took a vacation? And I gave an honest answer. When I was 16 years old, I took a vacation to California with my parents. That was after we had lived here the first time and I was coming back, the second time at 18. And people are like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I've worked and I've worked and I've worked. And then when I had my own business since I was 30, Like you have to pay your Social Security as your employer, and as you're your own employee, and you're also your own employer. So you have to pay double in everything: Medicare, Social Security, federal tax, state tax, unemployment tax, SDI, state disability. You have to pay double. And between paying my contractors, paying my vendors, and paying all the taxes, I would have just enough left over to make a small rent or mortgage payment. So, but it's a good thing I sucked all that money away, so that I have a little something now. Not a lot, but I've still managed to keep a roof over my head. But let me tell you, just these YouTube views, if I can just make enough money every month from the views, which is what I'm looking at, the super chats and the super thanks and all the gifts, those are great. But I can't rely on that's going to keep coming. Here and there people will send one, but I need to rely on the views. And if just the views alone could, at the very minimum, pay for my groceries every month, that would be a tremendous help. Kathy says she met her second husband online. I have never done online dating. I wish I knew how to make a little extra from YouTube, but it seems like a lot. It is a lot. I've worked at this for 5 years and 4 months. It was the end of December 2020. And I was briefly monetized. I think it was March 2024, but it hardly made any money. And then it got demonetized at the beginning of 2025. Never thought I would do it again. And then I just started this true crime series, and the hours started to add up. The views started to add up. But most all the views came before the monetization. So, I haven't really made a dime off this Nancy Guthrie case other than maybe the last 3 weeks. And I know I'm going to have, a little bit extra in this check, because the first 6 days of March, they're going to tack on to the April payment. And then I had a balance of about $25 or $26 left over, and it looks like they're finally going to tack that on. So between the last 6 days of March and the balance that I had from, I think it was left over from 2024, I'm finally going to see that money. So it'll be a nice little check. It'll definitely be enough for groceries, but it's a month behind. Like, I won't see that check until at least May 21st, anywhere between May 21st and May 26th. It's kind of like Social Security. They pay a month behind. And then when they pay a month behind, they can pay at the end of that next month that's behind. Let's see. Tricia says, yes, Miss V, 4,000 watch hours and either 3 shorts and 500 subs or 1,000 subs. Yeah, and the 500 subs is just for the mini monetization. You can do 500 and 3,000, but they wouldn't let me apply for that when that happened the second time, because I had already been, I guess because I had it before. So I had to go all the way. And I'm like, well, if I can hit 3,000, I can hit 4,000. Let's just keep going as far as the watch hours. So, hey, the black sheep, where are you coming in from? Haven't seen you before? Have you been in here before, or where are you coming in from? Black Sheep 2020. Welcome to my channel. I hope you are subscribed. But yeah, everybody that's come in, that's contributed, whether it was a super chat, a super thanks, a view. I have a lady on here that sent a few, maybe 5 or 6 Venmos. I had a birthday gift sent from our friend Saraf on a PayPal, like people that bought the gifts from the store, people that sent the cards, the letters. That's amazing. Never would have thought that this could happen. And it happened, right at the time of my birthday. You have been in here before. Missouri. Oh, okay, Black Sheep. Well, you can always watch on the replays. But thanks for coming in. I'm sorry I didn't remember. There's just so many people coming in now. Kathy says she lives in Missouri also. Oh, you're near Branson? I've never been to Branson, Missouri. I've been to Missouri, like, crossing the United States multiple times, but I've never been to Branson. No problem, Black Sheep. I'm sorry. Like, I apologize. I just have a lot of regulars in here now. But I know everybody has a different schedule. There's people that write me and they're like, you're coming on too early, or you're coming on too late, or I love your new backgrounds, or hey, your new backgrounds suck. Like, I can't please everybody, and I just basically have to do it around my own schedule. And then if people can't come in at that time and they really are interested in seeing me, they can always watch later. But yeah, I've been shocked at what has come in the first month. And I've also, I used to watch, when I first started YouTube, long before I ever got monetized, because I started in 2020 and I had that brief monetization in 2024. For years, I would watch other people's YouTube videos about how they got their monetization and how they earned their first check, and that's how much it was. And I did a video like that too, but it's almost, I was almost embarrassed because it was like, I have $100, and it took this many months to get it, But then I've also heard a lot of people saying lately that YouTube has changed a lot, which it has, and that for some reason that YouTube doesn't like you to make videos like that. And I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I will not be making a video about my first check, because if that's going to put me in a negative light, then I'm not going to do it. Demus, a few of the YouTubers are going storm chasing. They are bored. It's funny. That would be fun. Yeah, Sue Brock says UBU, April. Exactly. Oh, hey, Boston Bill. Oh, you just have Venmo. Yeah, you've been doing some lives, Bill, but you always seem to come on when I'm on, or I'm busy doing something. And I've noticed that since I've started doing these regular daily videos, that I've had a lot less time to watch YouTube. And then I go into some of my lives, like in the gold community, and people are like, where have you been? Are you okay? I'm just busy trying to build up my YouTube channel, and I'm still trying to figure out how I can catch the YouTube algorithm on my long form videos, because I'm watching the numbers and I'm like, if it were just for those, I don't think I would be making enough to get even a check once a month. So I've got to figure that out, because that's the only way to be fully successful on YouTube. And that is that you're continually making content, you're continually uploading videos, and people are enjoying, or they're being entertained or educated by what you're talking about. And I've never pictured myself as a creative. I am hashtagging. But everybody wants to come in and see the Nancy Guthrie case. And I don't mind talking about that. I don't mind doing these lives. But I really, I enjoy going out in the field and making the videos. But, I've been so messed up the last few years since my heart that I haven't been able to just, get in the car and drive to wherever I want to drive and make the videos. Hey, Jewel. That's okay. You can always watch the playback. I've been on much longer than I intended, and I really haven't eaten much today. So I need to get off here, and I need to make some dinner. I'm kind of down to just a little bit of food in the morning now, or early afternoon, and then I, have a dinner, and that's basically it. Because I have all this weight on from medication. I think I'm going to make a turkey burger. I just kind of introduced turkey again into my diet, because after my cancer, I stopped all meat. And then 2 years later, because of my bones, I had to introduce some chicken. And now I've slowly introduced a little turkey again, but I'll never eat red meat again. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm having a cheeseburger, but it's just a turkey burger. But even that makes me feel, guilty. But I need some protein for my bones. So I'm gonna cook that, and I don't even know what I'm gonna have as a side. It's kind of the end of the week, and that's when I need to place a shopping order. Thank you for coming in, Sue Brock. Oh wow, Tricia says we had garlic parmesan chicken, wings, baked asparagus, and tomato slices for dinner. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm getting hungry now. No, I'm not on steroids, but I was on steroids during the chemo because they have to give you steroids prior to the chemo so that you don't like have a heart attack and die during the treatment. But no, I'm not on steroids, but I'm on a lot of heart medications. So pretty messed up. But no, Ollie was on steroids during chemo, and that was 2019 and the beginning of 2020. God, that sounds good. Guys, so many of you guys talk about like really good things, and I wish you lived closer. Can you make me a plate? Oh, wow. I never ate asparagus, and then one day I had it from the Spielberg chef that used to come work at the office that I worked at on Mandeville. It was called the Peter Lorre Estate, and she would cook over there first, and then she'd come over and cook at that office, and they'd be like, "Hey, come in, we're having the chef, we're having the Spielberg chef," and she made asparagus, and I tried it, and I loved it. Kathy said a roast beef and Colby Jack cheese sandwich. That actually sounds really good. I miss roast beef. Trisha, no one comes to my house and leaves without eating something or taking something home. How soon can I get there, Trisha? I like to watch cooking YouTubers, yes, but it makes me hungry. Absolutely. I sent the oven repairman home with a baggie of fresh baked cookies. Oh, I love cookies. Can't eat too many of them. But yeah, not a big ice cream person. I'm more of a yogurt person, but a good home baked cookie, that's the best. And in LA, there's not a lot of baking in the summer because it just heats up the apartment too much. But right now, it's really nice weather right now. You will send me a care package. Oh, thank you, Trisha. Oh my gosh. Let me know if you don't have to, but if you're not kidding and you're serious, let me know so that I would be able to go to the box and pick it up. Because I don't get there every day, so. But if I know something's there, like let me know. And I'll rush over there. It's not very far. It's like 5 minutes from here. Ugh. My sister tried to do that once for Christmas because we used to make homemade cookies when I was a kid for Christmas. And she made some homemade sugar cookies, and her kids like decorated them, and they were in a tin, but they weren't packed very well, and they showed up like a bomb had gone off. It was just a tin full of crumbs. It was still good though. Yeah, I wish I had a yard, Jay, and I could plant, a garden. I would love something like that. And I would love to be able to set out a wildlife camera and do like YouTube videos at night because I'm a night person. I could sit out in the back patio and with my camera, and LA is so full of raccoons and possums and coyotes, and it would be really fun if that would be my dream to have my own little, even if it was just a tiny house and it had a little tiny yard, but my own yard, and I had my own washer and dryer. I would be set. Other than to go to the doctor and the pharmacy and the mailbox, I would probably never leave my house. Crumbs are better than air. I know, but they had like the little sprinkles that you put on the Christmas cookies, and it was just like a tin full of like sprinkles in crumbs, sugar cookie crumbs. Not one cookie in the whole tin made it. They're very fragile. My unit doesn't get enough sunlight. I just don't have enough sunlight because the way the building is shaped, I'm in kind of a dark spot. So it's kind of sad. But yeah, I would love that. My own yard and my own little garden and my wildlife cameras or set up, get a professional camera person to come over here and show me how to set something up that I could, record at night even while I was sleeping of the wildlife and, have like a little fountain for the animals and some healthy, food for them. And they have grow tents inside. Yeah, my neighbor had one of those. I have no place to put it. I have all my gold materials, my gold community materials on my refrigerator, like my little sluices and yeah, I wouldn't have that kind of space. My pets take up a lot of space, especially my bunny and all of her things. She has to have a lot of things. I don't even have room for a Christmas tree. I mean, I guess I could get a small one, but oh, you just sent some sun? Did you mean one of those little oh, I didn't see anything. Hey! Where's the Kellyanne? I saw that one, a laughing disco. Thank you, my friend. How have you been? I haven't seen you today. Yeah, I'm going off the air soon. I'm getting ready to cook a turkey burger. And then all of my regulars in here have been talking about what they cooked for dinner already, and it sounds so good. Yeah, I gotta have something with the turkey burger. Last night I actually spent money that I shouldn't have spent. I used Uber Eats, and I had authentic Mexican tacos, and it came with a small side of rice and beans, and it was just to die for. And sadly, I didn't eat it all at once, but I ate a little bit of it throughout the evening. And it's authentic. So it was chicken tacos, rice and beans. Oh, it was so good. I could live off Italian food or Mexican food, but now that I don't eat the red meat anymore, like I don't eat the Italian food very much because I would really love to have just a big plate of homemade spaghetti and meatballs. You may eat a Red Baron mini pizza. Greek or Chinese for you, says Tricia. Kathy Mallory says 4 cheese. Gosh, no, it's going to take a while for my broiler to heat up. Then it takes about 12 or no, it's like 9 minutes on each side to cook. You know what? My sponsor family, they're Thai, and I don't eat Thai food, and it's just awful because the mother, she makes Thai food better than a restaurant. Yeah, I thought my first book was going to be titled Rice at the Beach. That's an inside family joke. I like some Chinese. I like the chow mein, and I love a good fried wonton, but fried food's not good for me. Yes, Mongolian barbecue is good. Cliff had Chinese food for lunch. Geez, now I want Chinese food, Cliff. All the takeouts around here are like really expensive. There was one down the street that was near the ranch facility in Burbank, the Warner Ranch facility, but they went out of business when they redid the shopping center. They also call that the ranch now. And then the Warner Ranch facility, which used to be the Columbia Ranch facility, and all you guys that are my age or older would know it from all these famous TV shows, but they just tore it down to build new sound stages, and so that whole shopping center that's across the street from it all got upgraded, and the little family Chinese place, they didn't make the cut, and now the only way I can get it is to order out, and it's like super expensive. Just eat the turkey burger in a Chinese accent. But I don't even have any sides to go with it. I need to do a grocery order later this week. Usually I do it like Friday or Saturday. Because then when I start to get low, I find myself going on these apps too often. Now, if I was like, JLR investigates YouTube Rich, I could just order out every night. And that would save a lot of time. Wow. Yeah, and I had a little leftover salsa too. And then they include some green and red salsa, so it was so good. Last night, having that special little treat, ordering out. Oh, it was so good. I think I'm going to have to cut those delivery orders. I'm going to have to cut them down to just like a couple times a month. But groceries are so expensive now too. Your husband makes his own salsa. With a dash of sweet and sour sauce. Absolutely, especially on the wontons. My favorite cookie is chocolate chip. I can't do the sweet chili sauce, Trisha. I don't think I've ever had the duck sauce. It's funny because all that Thai food is so spicy, and I'm just like, no, can't do it. I have not lived. Hey, trophy cake. Thank you. Thank you, Kellyanne. Appreciate you. I wish I could. Trisha says, pack a bag, come over for a week. I will enrich your gourmet experiences. Oh, wow. Kathy says, I like Reese's peanut butter cookies with chopped up peanut butter cups chopped in. Oh my God, that would be so good. Has anybody ever had the Reese's Pieces? Those are like drugs, man. Trisha says, I make a wicked ground chicken parmesan. Oh, that sounds so good. Yeah, Trisha, aren't they the best? Oh, did Sue check out? Okay, night, Sue. Sorry, I missed that. Or peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I'm more just a peanut butter person rather than a peanut butter and jelly. I kind of don't like, my peanut butter to be like mushy. We shouldn't be talking about all this because I am on a diet. I think since my last hospitalization, I've lost like 6 or 7 pounds. They are good. They have coarse sugar on top. Yeah, they have a lot of sugar. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is actually very good for the heart. So I love some dark chocolate with the sea salt. Like, that's really good. It's actually very healthy for the heart. But you just, can't eat the whole thing in one sitting. But like, the bars that have they have the little squares in them and you can like break off a square. It's actually really good. Like to have some pomegranate juice and some dark chocolate. pure pomegranate juice. It's a little strong when it's pure, but just take like a shot glass full a day, and supposedly it reverses heart damage. Yeah, dark chocolate is great. And I love milk chocolate too, but it doesn't have the health benefits of dark chocolate. Kathy says, I have a carton of dark chocolate marshmallow eggs. Oh my God. Jay says, of course, hubby likes milk chocolate, so that is what he buys. Yes, my aunt was excited to find out red wine and dark chocolate were good for you, but she was sad when she found out how little you could have. Yeah. Well, I can't have any wine. I'd love to have a little glass of white wine or something, but no. But the red wine is really good, but no, I can't with the medication. I was never a big drinker anyway, so. Wow, now I'm so hungry. And I have no chocolate here. Dang it. Or no Reese's Pieces. Meds and wine equals bad. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the husband is now on anti-seizure meds, so zero alcohol for him. Oh, yeah. Don't even have it in your house. But let him have, whatever he likes every now and then, like a cookie or some chocolate. Or I suffered through liver failure, so water is my drink of choice. Very good for you, Kathy Mowry. I was supposed to be drinking it right now, but this is vitamin water zero. But I'm too busy, answering questions. I drink unsweetened decaf tea. I drink decaf coffee a little bit, but no tea. I've had decaf for almost 20 years. My bunny has decided she's going to dig a hole because she is ringing the supper bell. And unlike the cat who can whine in my face all day, she doesn't make noise, so she has to dig a hole. So I'm going to have to go because she is literally digging a hole in her rug because she wants her evening 1/8 cup of pellets. And I got to get her some more hay. And bunnies, they have a temper. I should get a Stanley hydration mug. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming. Make sure you're following me or you're subscribed. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, the one fur baby, she's in a timeout in the bedroom, so she's probably passed out, but I got to get her out, get her fed, get the bunny fed, get my oven turned on, and have my turkey burger. Sounds so sad because there's really nothing else to cook with it right now. Okay. Thank you so much. Everybody, have a good evening. Thanks for coming.